Welcome to the MAIII periodical maintenance checks. In the following videos, we will show you critical points on your machine to check, so please follow us along. Open the nozzle cover. Check for any material leakage on the barrel head and nozzle threads. If any, remove, clean and retighten the screws and nozzle. Ensure the nozzle cover has smooth movement and the limit or proximity switch is working and can be verified on the I/O page. During chargeback, listen if there's any noise coming from the screw barrel or screw motor area. If there's any noise, the source of this noise needs to be located immediately. If there isn't any noise, then it's fine. When the machine has stopped and the barrel heaters are still on, suck back the screw to its maximum position and inspect the screw coupling and the coupling bolts. All present and no broken bolts. Any broken bolts need to be replaced as soon as possible.
During mold changes, necessary to check the nozzle center. This can be done on a regular basis.
Check on the screen if the heaters are heating around the same. If not, then do heater optimization and see if there's any improvement. If no improvement, then there is a problem with the fuses, heaters, solid-state relays or thermocouples. Inspect the operator door glass for any broken or cracked safety glass and check the door open and close movement is smooth and reliable with no obstructions. Confirm the operator door limit signals on the I/O page when opening and closing the door. With the motor on, open the door and try and close the mold with the door open. The mold shouldn't be able to close and an alarm should appear on the screen. Check and inspect the door glass is not cracked or broken and securely in place. Open and close the door and check the movement is smooth and reliable without obstacles and interferences. Confirm the non-operated door signals on the I/O page when opening and closing the door. Press the switch in. The motor should cut out. Alarm should be present on the screen and the alarm light should show a red light. Confirm the non-operator side emergency stop button signals on the I/O page when pushing the button in and releasing it again. Place the level on the tie bar near the fixed platen and check the level indicator. If adjustment needed, adjust to level. It should be done yearly. Place a straight bar across the tie bars and check the machine level. Adjust if needed. Check yearly. Place the level on the tie bar near the rear platen and check the level indicator. If adjustment needed, adjust to level. Should be done yearly. Place a straight bar across the linear rails of the injection unit and check the machine level. Adjust if needed and check this yearly. Ensure the toggle pin keys are all in place and all the screws are in and there is no broken screws. Check the pipes on the foot slides isn't damaged and that the foot slide is getting enough lubrication. Check the foot slide is touching the wear strip. Check that the wear strip is clean and free of any water, material or sprues laying on it. Clean and inspect the wear strip on a weekly basis. Using a tie bar strain gauge kit from SensorMAIII and placing the sensors on the tie bars according to the SensorMAIII instructions and clamping the machine to maximum clamp force. With the SensorMAIII sensors in place, clamp the machine on maximum clamp force and check that all the tie bars are measuring more or less even. Using a clock gauge with a foot stand base, measuring the space between the platens at random points on the side of the platens between the tie bars and the top and bottom between the tie bars. With the machine door open and the power on, check the supply voltage across the phases and neutral with a multimeter. Between phases should be 380 or 440 volts depending on the region's voltage supply. Between each phase and neutral should be 220 to 240 volts. Use a multimeter to check the power supply output for the control voltage and also confirm on the C+, C- and B+, B- terminal strips in the electrical cabinet. Check the ground wires inside the electrical panel is connected securely on the ground terminal strip. Check the ground wire on the outside of the electrical panel is connected securely. Ensure the fans are securely mounted and when the power is on they are running. These filters need to be cleaned every 3 to 6 months depending on the dust situation in the factory. Switch the machine power off. Check the wires on the terminals and connection points are not pulling out, and use a screwdriver to check that the terminal screws are tight. Check no dust in the cabinets. Make sure the wires are secure in the trunking. Inspect for any oil, material or dust. Ensure the cabinets are clean and nothing is stored inside the cabinets. Ensure the wires are securely tied together and fitted into the glands and not hanging loose or pulling out. Ensure that the valve plug covers are securely screwed down and not loose. Inspect the injection transducer if the body mount clip screws, the signal cable plug and the transducer carriage or shaft screw is securely tight and no damage and is clean. Inspect the ejector transducer if the body mount clip screws, the signal cable plug and the transducer shaft are securely tight, no damages and is clean. Inspect the clamp transducer if the body mount clip screws, the signal cable plug and the transducer carriage or shaft is securely tight and no damages and is clean. The transducer calibration can be performed on a yearly basis to ensure the transducer accuracy. This is done in the parameters pages of the controller. In normal conditions, green would mean the machine is running an automatic cycle. Red would mean there's an alarm present. Switch off the machine power. Wait for at least 5 minutes. Ensure the cabinets are clean. Make sure the fans on the inverters are clean. Make sure the wires are securely tightened and neat. The oil suction filter should be cleaned yearly to ensure the pump gets sufficient oil. Follow the instructions in the manual. During normal running, check if the motor is running and check that the motor is not too hot and the cooling fan is working and no excessive noise coming from the motor. Motor cooling heat exchanger needs to be cleaned yearly and the water flow needs to be checked. Inspect the barrel throat cooling jacket and pipes for any leakages. To confirm the water is flowing, the return line from the manifold can be removed and placed in a bucket. Check the water flow coming out of the pipe when opening the valve. Also check that the pipes at the manifold are securely tight and not leaking. Check the oil level in the inspection glass on the back of the machine. If the oil level is low, please top it up to the correct oil, normally a number 46 hydraulic oil. Inspect the hydraulic pipes and connections on a weekly basis for leaking at the couplings and scuffing on the flex hoses. Correct and tighten if needed. Check the bypass filter pressure gauge during normal running if the indicator is in the green area on the gauge. If the indicator is in the orange or the red, this means the filter is blocked and needs to be replaced. Use the force output pressure test in the parameters set value to the maximum and see if the hydraulic pressure can be reached during the test on the screen and on the pressure gauge. If it can't be reached, please contact Haitian for further assistance. Use the force output pressure test in the parameters and set the value to a medium pressure and see if the hydraulic pressure can be reached during the test on the screen and on the pressure gauge. Use the force output pressure test in the parameters and set the value to a minimum low pressure and see if the hydraulic pressure can be reached during the test on the screen and on the pressure gauge. Check the manual as to what the screw speed is listed for this size machine. Set the screw back speed to 99%. Press the charge back button and monitor on the screen if the speed is reached. If not reached, please consult with Haitian for further assistance. Every second year the oil tank should be drained and the top and side inspection covers should be removed. Sludge and dirt should be removed from the bottom of the oil tank and the covers replaced and filled with oil again. Oil temperature check. Oil temperature can be checked on the operator overview screen, and to verify if this temperature is correct, you can use a probe inserted into the oil tank to get an actual reading of the oil temperature and compare it with what's on the overview page. The oil heat exchanger should be opened and cleaned yearly to ensure sufficient oil cooling. Activate the lubrication pump and check if the green light's on. Check the pressure gauge if the pressure is building up and maintaining. If the pressure is not building up and not maintaining, this means there's a break in the line or the pump is damaged. Also check the oil level is topped up. Lubrication pressure switch. Activate the lubrication pump and check on the I/O page if the lubrication I/O point is made when the pressure is reached. This means the switch is working properly. Inspect the toggle lubrication points and pipes for any leakages and breaks. Inspect the moving platen lubrication points and pipes on the bottom area of the platen for any breaks and leakages. Inspect the cross-member lubrication points and pipes for leakages and breaks. Inspect the moving platen lubrication points and pipes on the top area of the platen for any leakages and breaks. These lubrication points need to be manually lubricated on a weekly basis, and they are located on each of the adjustment nuts and on both sides of the platen base. The linear bearing lubrication points need to be lubricated on a weekly basis and make sure that the linear rails are kept clean and no damage on any of the rails. We've come to the end of our MAIII periodical maintenance checks. If there's anything we didn't mention in these videos, please feel free to contact us and we'll guide you further.